This is Investor Perspectives. I'm the host of Investor Connect, Paul T. Martin, where we connect startups and investors for funding. In our new Investor Perspective series entitled Faith-Based Investing in a Post-COVID World, you'll hear our guest's investment thesis. As the COVID pandemic passes, we emerge into a new era. The faith-based investing space is now undergoing tremendous change as we shift to a post-COVID world. Faith-based investing takes precedence with many investors in the financial industry. We have investors and startup founders describe the changes coming up. We hope you enjoy the show. Investor Connect is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to the education of investors and startups for fundraising. Please consider donating $100 to the program to help others in their investor and entrepreneur journey. You can find the donate button on the investorconnect.org website. Our next guest is Tony Long, co-founder and managing partner at CLX Ventures. CLX identifies and executes real estate-related development, investment, and service ideas that produce exceptional risk-adjusted results. Tony, thank you for joining us. What do you look for to make an investment in general?
Well, we look for multifamily. We look for places that have good job growth, good access to major freeways. We really like I-35 because I-35 is the big artery that goes north to south. It's nicknamed the NAFTA freeway that goes basically from Mexico to Canada. And so we really like investing along I-35. We like the growth corridor between Austin and San Antonio, so we've made a lot of bets there. But on the industrial side, we tend to like the larger format logistics type buildings that cater to the trends that are going on in e-commerce. And so obviously companies like Amazon and Walmart have made big bets in selling and distributing their goods through e-commerce. And so warehouse space has followed. Some of the retail demand has shifted from retail to warehouse space where the goods and services are collected and then pushed out to the rooftops. And so that's really what we look for. We look for good schools. We look for job growth. We look for safety statistics. I mean, we just generally look for good real estate.
Our next guest is David Sims, managing partner and founder at Talenton. Talenton is an impact investing organization that invests in values-driven growth stage enterprises in Kenya, Rwanda, and Uganda. They seek to partner with businesses that have $500,000 to $5 million in revenue in sectors that provide jobs for those living in poverty. David, thank you for joining us. And so what do you look for to make an investment in this space?
Well, Paul, we'll start off looking for a values alignment, meaning people of integrity. That's going to be confirmed by their past history as well as their reputations in their community. We want to see people that are coachable because if they're not willing to listen and learn from others, they're not likely to be successful in the long term. We're, because of our model, looking for companies that can rapidly grow and scale. That means 5 to 10 times growth in the next 5 years. Not all entrepreneurs are looking to ride that kind of rocket ship. But if we want to lift thousands of people out of poverty through the kind of investment work we're doing, we need entrepreneurs that are looking to generate that kind of impact in the world. And then, of course, we're looking for a business model that we're investing where the financial returns and the cash flows are sufficient to cover the returns to our investors. So the business has to make good financial sense when executed well.
Our next guest is Andrew Stoner, Chief Investment Officer at Paradigm. Paradigm redefines success for purpose-driven families and business owners by challenging social norms and balancing family and finance to build kingdom impact and generational prosperity. Andrew, thank you for joining us. So what do you look for to make an investment in? Maybe we can focus on the quantitative aspect. Are there any growth targets or numerical numbers you use for guiding your decision there?
No, really for us, what it boils down to is this idea of value creation. A lot of times people ask the question, is this company overvalued, undervalued, right? That's a big question that you hear a lot in the stock market. Is the stock market currently overvalued, undervalued, those kind of things? What we like to do is really focus specifically on when you narrow your focus down to an individual company instead of zooming out and looking at the overall market and we zoom into the individual company, we like to ask, is this company creating lasting value that will continue to grow? So regardless of what the stock price is now, do we expect that this company is going to continue to produce a value that increases over time?
Our next guest is Wes Lyons, general partner at Eagle Venture Fund. Eagle Venture Fund invests in world-changing entrepreneurs who are tackling tough problems like modern-day slavery, combating malaria, and building technologies that help people and many other companies. Wes, thank you for joining us. And so what do you look for to invest in this space? Do you have any specific criteria that you look at?
We're looking for world-changing founders that have found. We always love serial entrepreneurs and serial entrepreneurs that have lived in and felt the problem that they're trying to solve. We're looking for passionate, world-changing entrepreneurs that have been in their problem for a long time, in their sector for a long time, and they're serially creating solutions to problems. And we love coming alongside those teams and bringing capital, training, and network.
Our next guest is Michael Arrieta, founder and CEO at Garden City Companies. Garden City Companies is a purpose-driven evergreen holding company that acquires and permanently holds family office service companies with $2 to $10 million EBITDA. Michael, thank you for joining us. So what do you look for to make an investment here, perhaps in numbers?
So we have about $50 million of permanent capital to put to work in this lower middle market space of small to mid-sized companies. So that's kind of where we are looking to, or where we're looking to invest. So we're looking for really just any business that's a good, enduring, profitable business that's been around for a decade plus, that the owner really wants someone to care for their business the way they've cared for their business for the past many decades, right? And we love it when owners also want to roll over a large piece of their equity into the new company, right? Because they see that probably the biggest thing about Garden City is we have a list of about 55 faith-driven investors, right? So all of our $50 million comes from 50 plus families. These families, many times often are the biggest asset to help grow the companies we acquired. So if someone's looking at selling their company, they say, hey, I want to sell you 60 or 70 or 80% of my company. They're really looking for a partner that can help grow the rest of the equity they're rolling over. So they love when they see our investor base and they see how we can help grow the company.
Our next guest is Josh Wilson, principal broker and owner at Kingdom Syndicate. Kingdom Syndicate focuses on syndicating private investment deals, putting people and deals together. Active investors are made up of family offices, private equity groups, special purpose acquisition companies, and more. And their partners are made of service providers and organizations that look to them to establish and expand on strategic business relationships. Josh, thank you for joining us. So what do you look for to make an investment here?
Yeah. So before we make an investment with our own, money, limited or a lot, or other people's money, I think what we're really looking forward is the team. I think that's the most important thing, is the team and the people behind the business. Yeah, I would say that's the number one thing. Everything rests on that. Is there a team? And what do they look like?
Our final guest is Bill Witcherman. Bill is the co-founder of Wedge Circle, an angel investment network driving investment into arts and entertainment that seeks to renew culture. He is president of Faith and Law, a ministry to congressional staff seeking to integrate their faith and their calling to the public square. And he is the chairman of the board of the political arm of the March for Life. Bill, thank you for joining us. So what do you look for to make an investment in this space?
Well, we look for an entrepreneur and we look for an investor. And so we're ourselves investors, but we really like to invest in community. So we look to other investors whom we trust and who have a proven track record. And we like coming in behind them in many cases. And in part because one of the things that I've learned about angel investing is it encourages you only to invest in industries you truly understand well. So we've decided to do the opposite. So we're invested in a lot of things that I understand barely, but I know people who understand it well. So on the investor side, I want investors who have done the vetting, done the due diligence, and know this space, and then I'll come in behind with them. And then the entrepreneur, I want somebody who's in community. So we never have gone in just in a vacuum, found an entrepreneur, and we, as the only investor, then come in and do it. I think there's a little bit of a safety in numbers thing. Obviously, you could be fooled in numbers if nobody's doing the vetting, but I think we're always careful that there's somebody else who's kind of done the practical exam of the startup, and then that's how we come in and invest.
Thank you for joining us today. As always, be sure to leave a review, subscribe to this podcast, and share it with others. Let's go start up something today.